All right, good morning, everybody. We'll go ahead and get started and officially call this meeting to order. All right, first action, everybody have a chance to read the minutes? Actually, before we do that, let me, do want to make an announcement, if there's anybody here. The applicant for ZV 25-2-108 Cypress Point, St. Simons Island, that we deferred from a previous meeting has withdrawn. So if you're here for that particular one, no need for you to hang around. And also the applicant, excuse me, for ZV 25-6-108 Rosemont Street, St. Simons Island, has also withdrawn. So if you're here for either of those, you do not have to hang around.
I have one more announcement.
Okay.
We have a new senior planner, Christina Wright. She's here with us today. Just want to introduce her.
Hey, Christina, welcome. All right, now on to the approval of the minutes. Everybody get a chance to read it? Any comment, discussion, motion?
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, got a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the minutes? You with us? Hey, you. Yep. All right, minutes approved. All right, so moving on down the list. This one has withdrawn, but for the record, we'll still read through it. ZV 25-2-108 Cypress Point, St. Simons Island variance. Consider request for the variance for Glenn County Plan Development Text GC-45-73, R20 section of the PD to allow proposed pool installation. The property is located 108 Cypress Point, St. Simons Island, Georgia, parcel 04-05963, Wendy R. Bird, applicant and owner. This was the item that was deferred from a special called meeting. The Board of Appeals held on Thursday, March 20th. As stated earlier, that one has withdrawn, but needed that on the record. All right, moving on to the next item. ZV 25-3, 74 Wildlife Preserve, St. Simons Island, variance. Consider request for variance to Glenn County Zoning Ordinance, Section 702, to reduce the right side yard setback by 2 feet for a proposed laundry room addition. The property is zoned R12, one family residential district, and located at 74 Wildlife Preserve, St. Simons Island, Georgia, parcel 04-13822. Earl Shelgel, I apologize if I messed that up, applicant and owner. I hear from staff.
Sure. Good morning, Nisi Carroll. The applicant is requesting a variance to the Glenn County Ordinance, Section 702, to reduce the right yard setback by 2 feet for a proposed laundry room addition. The required side yard setback is 7, and the resulting setback would be 5 if the variance is granted by the Board of Appeals. According to Q Public, the home was constructed in 2009. The site is in the R12 one family residential district. Here's the zoning map. Here's a survey of the neighborhood. And here is a site plan. This is the site plan zoomed in on the proposed area. This is a front view of the property. This is the side. That's it. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Anybody have any questions for staff?
Yeah, I didn't see plans submitted for this. Did y'all have one in your packet? I see it.
Proposed plans. So there were, do you have proposed plans? There were none submitted through building inspection.
Gotcha. So no actual.
No, he hasn't made application yet. Not yet.
Okay. Hang on 1 second. We'll get you up there. Any other questions for staff? Nope. All right. Very good. Thank you. All right. So move on to the applicant. If you'd like to step to the podium, state your name for the record.
Schlegel.
All right, I apologize for that.
That's all right.
All right, so tell us what's on your mind, or do you have any other options, or why are we requesting?
Well, the house never had a laundry room, just a closet and a bedroom with a, washer and dryer. And if you can see that front section, that L, that sideways L, that's actually a wall. It goes into that 2-foot portion of the setback. And basically, original to the house. And if you look below that, there's another L, and that's the wall that I want to use as one of the walls. And it just comes out that 6-foot portion, and then another, I think it's 8 feet. So it's just a 6-by-8-foot bump out. And the neighbor actually wants me to do it because that's where we keep our trash cans, and that's where there's a back door, that'll go away. The garbage cans will no longer be on that side. There won't be, like I said, there won't be a back. There's already a deck there that'll go away. It's just replacing that deck area, and it'll just clean it up. We'll have to, since we won't have a door over there anymore, the garbage cans live on the other side of the house.
So the wall that is existing now, is it just a block wall just to hide trash cans or something, or what was its purpose?
It was a decorative, they call it a wing wall off the side of the house. It swoops down, and then where you see those 2 double L's, that's where the air conditioner units are, inside of that.
Gotcha. Okay, so it's the lower section is where you're wanting to actually add.
Yeah, you see where those steps are, and that's a small deck with a grill and stuff on it right now. I'm basically just ripping that out and then closing that and doing a little laundry room.
So the access will actually be through the existing door?
Through the existing house, yeah, but the house door, it goes out, but then you won't have a way, there won't be a door to go outside in the new room. It'll just be enclosing that deck.
Gotcha. What's the square footage of the house?
I think it's like 3,400, and this will be like 40 feet, well.
So that, with all due respect, I have to ask, in a 3,400 square foot house, you can't find somewhere inside the house to put a laundry room?
Well, I mean, yes, we have a laundry room in the closet in one of the bedrooms, but other than that, I mean, we could put it in another closet in another bedroom or something, but.
Gotcha.
I got one. Could you be any way to kind of turn around the corner there and kind of pop it out in the front without having to disturb the setback line?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Any way to turn around the corner there and pop it out the front?
Oh, no.
I mean, there may be a window there or something, I don't know. I don't see it, there's no plan.
Yeah, that wouldn't work. And I could, if I could make it longer and skinnier, although there's only 4 feet, but there's all these vents, and there's a giant electrical box out there. That's where I'm stopping. Again, it's not gonna, it's only gonna be whatever, 40 or 50 square feet.
Yeah, it's not so much the square feet as it is the actual, for me personally, and this is my opinion, you have to look at it from our side, that if when there are other options, and we really try to look at what other options are there and what created the hardship. This is obviously a self-imposed hardship when there are other options available. And if we allow, if we allow this, then the next person, well, you did it for him, why can't you do it for me? So we have to deal with those type things.
Sure.
So we really try to look at things objectively, to, several of us are builders up here, so we look for alternatives that don't require variances, because these ordinances are in place for a reason, and we try to uphold them. Excuse me, but we do understand that sometimes things come up and it just doesn't fit, and that's what we're here for, is to make those exceptions, excuse me. Me personally, I see too many other alternatives. Even though it is a small encroachment, it's, you're either encroaching or you're not. It's a simple one way or the other question. It's not just a little bit or a whole lot. Whether you're 20 feet in it or 2 inches in it, you're still in it. So that's kind of where I'm feeling on this. I don't know if my colleagues have any other comments or questions. Yeah, you don't have any actual drawings or proposed drawings of the structure at this point? I understand it's a process, but.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as, no, I do not.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, there was a picture, when you showed the pictures, that I thought I saw pretty much, not being able to see the property. There was something I saw, when you mentioned trash cans, sir, I thought I saw, yeah. So is that,
Yeah, so
that's the side that you're talking about? Because I know that's,
and so, like I said, my neighbors were kind of happy because their windows face that way, and,
Yeah.
that'll all go away, it'll just be.
yeah, but my question for, if you can just help me understand, where, am I able to see that L,
See those steps in there?
that L wall on your sketch?
Yeah, so the L wall, that's the corner of it, that white thing to the left,
There.
so it's right there.
There we go.
There's the back door, and then there's that L wall, and then that wall would be, it would just be the footprint of that wall, and then coming this way 8 feet, basically to the end of those steps. You see where that electrical panel is?
Yes.
It would go to there, and then it would just get rid of that back porch.
So those steps are on the property line? I mean, not the property line, the setback line?
Yes.
Okay.
But the
So
deck,
those go away, and that's the door you're talking about that goes into the laundry room?
that'll go into the laundry room, and then there won't be another door that comes out of the house back there.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else got any comments or questions for applicant? Okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, move on to the public comment section. Is there anyone here to speak for or against this particular application? Okay, hearing none, seeing none, we'll close the public comment section. Gentlemen, any discussion, or we'll entertain a motion if someone would like to suggest one? What are you guys feeling? Like I said, I kind of stated my opinion. I think there are some other alternatives, not knowing the layout of the house, but I think there are other alternatives. And to stay within the footprint of the house and not grant the variance. That's just kind of where I'm at on it, because I just think there's other options.
I myself not seeing the hardship.
Well, Mr. Chairman, then I'll make a motion. I move to deny, the motion is I move to deny ZV-25-3.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? A motion and a second. All those in favor? Okay, it is denied.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you. You do have the option to appeal to the Glenn County Board of Commissioners if you'd like. Okay. All right, moving on to the next one. All right, variance request, ZV 25-4, 115 Demery Oak Circle, St. Simons Island. Consider a request for a variance to the Glenn County zoning ordinance, section 701, to reduce the front yard setback from 20 feet to 14.5 feet for a proposed screen porch addition. The property is zoned R6, one-family residential district, and located at 115 Demery Oak Circle, St. Simons Island, Georgia, parcel 04-0457574. Mark and Mary Umstead, applicants and owners. May I hear from staff, please?
Sure. Good morning, Nisi Carroll again. The applicant is requesting a variance to the Glenn County zoning ordinance, section 701, to reduce the front yard setback from 20 feet to 14.5 feet for proposed screen porch addition. According to Q Public, the home was constructed in 1977. The site is in the R6 one-family residential district. The applicant has made application with the Glenn County Building Inspections Office for the proposed addition. The proposed structure is approximately 120 square feet. Here's the zoning map. Here's the survey. It's the zoom-in version of the survey. These are the proposed elevations and site plan. Here is a current picture. That is all from staff.
It looks like to me that if you go back to the survey,
This one or?
yeah, that, yes, where you had that, the 14.5 actually goes to that, I assume that porch there is existing.
Yes, and they are, from my understanding, they are going to the left, expanding to the left of the property.
Well, the plan showed, well, first of all, the house is beyond the setback line itself.
Correct.
That's not included in what we're doing, right?
No.
But it says it's 14 and a half feet to the existing porch, but the plan, if you go to the plan, it shows that the new porch extends 8 feet. So actually, you're going 10 feet into the setback, right? Because you're already a couple of feet with the house now, and with the additional 8 feet, it's actually a 10-foot encroachment instead of a 6, right? And that house there doesn't match the house that's on the survey.
This one?
Doesn't appear to.
This one?
Well, the survey I got,
So is it, and this may be a question for the applicants, the front porch that's shown on here, I'm assuming is the existing porch, so we're,
Correct.
yeah,
Okay.
we just said-
all right. Okay, we'll get to that, in a second, so. Okay, any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to, and hear from the applicant, please, just step to the podium, state your name, and give us your side, and then we'll have some questions.
Mark Umstead, and my wife Mary. And so we've had the house since 2013, and basically, because of the mosquitoes and everything else during the summer, we just thought a screened porch would be a very nice addition, so we looked into going to the right over that patio, but that only has that 7-foot offset, so we thought about coming off the front, so that was where the idea came, to augment that existing front porch with a screened-in porch to the view we're looking at to the right of that existing front porch, and it would take a little bit of the driveway.
Okay,
It's coming out a window. It's, like I said, not off the front porch. There's a room to the side that will take the window out and become a door, and will go 8 feet from there.
okay.
So you're actually 14.5 feet to the existing porch. The new porch is gonna stick out beyond the existing porch.
Yes.
So you're actually
Going
asking,
closer to the road. That's what
Yeah,
it's wrong.
yeah, so the request is not actually to reduce it to 14, the request is actually to reduce it to
10.5.
10 and a half.
That
So
I don't know.
you've got 14 and a half feet from your property line to your existing porch,
Go to the drawing, please.
and then you've got 18 and a half feet from the property line to the front of the house. If you go 8 feet off the house, that leaves you 10 and a half feet from the new structure to the property line. That's a significant
Encroachment.
encroachment. Yeah, it's not a, we're not reducing to 14, we're reducing to 10 and a half is what that actual request would be. And the fact that the entire front of the house is already 1.5 feet into it, and it appears that there's a porch in the back that is actually built to the property line as well.
There's nothing on the back of the house other than a wooden deck that's on the ground.
There's no,
So it's on grade.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
no,
otherwise you would step 2 feet down into dirt, so
Okay.
it's just a.
So it's an on grade, okay,
That was existing there
gotcha,
with,
okay.
with the house. I don't think anything was done to scale back when the house was
Gotcha.
built.
Um,
We have a safety issue.
gotcha, understood.
We have to keep some enclosed space,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to go outside. That's where we've been looking into where we could add this.
What about, not knowing the layout of the house, looking at the survey, come off of one end of the house, the brick area, if you're coming out that front wall, could you come out that side wall? Looks like you could get a decent sized one,
At the,
on
at
the
the
right
other
or
end
even
of
the-
the,
or
at
even
the
the
other
left.
end of the house? Is that what you're saying?
either the right or the left. The left, there's plenty of room. The right, it appears there's, 7.5 feet before you get to the setback?
Well, we wanted to go off the right, but we were told we couldn't go off the left side of the house.
when you're.
Yeah, sorry, from the front, yes.
It's an existing patio, which I just wanted to put a roof and screen over, and they said that was too close. So it's just a small patio I've got. McMansions going up all around me, and it's just a little porch is what I was hoping for her safety.
I don't see a patio on my plan.
Proposed drawings? Can we move to the proposed drawings?
What you thinking?
I'm trying to get my mind around. So the screen porch addition, the drawing doesn't jive with the site plan. The floor plan doesn't jive with the site plan.
No, not even the dimensions on the site are the same. I mean, they're close. But the dimensions of the actual lot aren't the same.
Oh, yeah, they are different.
It was 8 feet, but it had to go 15 to make it match the size of that room, so it wouldn't be, is that what you're talking about, how it doesn't match?
I
That
just-
room that it's coming off of is 15 feet.
You step over the podium, please, just so we can hear everything, it's all right.
The room that it's coming off of, the side room into the driveway, is 15 feet wide. So we had to go
So the porch is
15
actually
feet to match that to make it appear. But
But
I mean,
that's
I don't
just
know
on the-
how much smaller you can make, we could try and go to 6 feet if that makes a difference.
So that, okay, yeah.
I think one of the things
Just
they're
wanted
looking at
some
is,
chairs.
they're looking at the overall dimensions, there's,
Okay.
seem to be some discrepancies, but, I do have one question, Mr. Farnsworth. Yes, sir. Would there be, if you would step up, would there be a problem, is there an issue if they stayed within the setbacks, for permitting something on that left side of the house? Is there any
I don't have access to the whole picture, but from what we're being presented here with the available space on either side of the house, there seems to be the opportunity to take advantage of that space without even having the need for this meeting.
Okay, that's kind of what I was thinking, just, you know, granted on the left side of the house, it would be limited to 7.5 feet max off the side of the house. The right side of the house would be unlimited. I don't know what's in that space. I don't know if it would be convenient to access, but
No,
that's the,
you have to, it goes through someone's bedroom.
that's what I wasn't sure what was on that end of the
If
house.
if I might, from an expense standpoint, coming off of, as we're looking at the house this way, off of the left-hand side of the house, you had mentioned a shed roof over the area where the brick patio appears to be. A shed roof is a whole lot less expensive. You builders know this than
Yeah.
doing a gabled roof attaching into an existing roof. So
Sure.
from a budgetary standpoint, you've got the opportunity not only in space but in finances to do a beautiful job on the left side of the house and save some money.
On the
On the patio
Yes.
side.
But I didn't think we could because you had to have 7 feet from the fence of our neighbor.
But you've got 14 and a half.
You have 7.5 feet you can go to the property line. And the advantage there too is your shed roof can overhang 18 inches over the setback. So visually, you can create a very good looking opportunity and save yourself some money.
Yeah, you could realistically do a,
There's a massive tree out there, one of the old oak, you know,
In the way of where you would put that patio.
yeah,
do we,
we do it.
Nisi, can we go to the photograph of the front, please?
Please understand, we're only here to try to.
Oh, I know, I
make things work for
appreciate,
you.
I
Absolutely.
appreciate, that was our original plan.
That
It
one.
doesn't show.
Yeah,
Go back.
one. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, you can see a little bit of it there.
So that existing shed roof is already 4.5 feet into the setbacks, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Well, I said the entire front of the house
Is a
plus
foot.
that, yeah, plus that existing.
So if they came over, came out of that, I mean, they're going, y'all going to have to park in the street.
Will be the porch.
So that, you're only gonna have, if you go,
Porch doesn't go by past that tree is, and then we've got one on the side, it's not really shown in that picture set.
well, look, I mean, just doing the math here, if you build what is proposed in here, at that point, you have 10 and a half feet to the property line. Which is, I mean, that's, I live near there, and so I'm in that neighborhood quite a bit, and that is a very, very narrow neighborhood. You know, there's not a ton. So therefore you see our reluctance to be here just because you're encroaching on that narrow space on a narrow road anyway.
So you know that street well,
Mhm.
with all the additions that have gone on that street?
And that was exactly my point previously is, well, they did it, why can't I do it? To me, that's not a valid argument.
I understand.
It's no different when my kids tell me that. I don't care what they're doing, I care what I'm doing
I
here.
understand, but that's why we think it would be, if we have a 1,600 square foot house, so it's like we don't have a lot of places.
I agree, but,
I understand.
you know, it was that way when you purchased it, you know, with all due respect, I mean, it kind of is what it is. And again, these ordinances are here for a reason to protect everybody, yourself included. You know, if the neighbor next to you wants to build all the way to their property line or they do it illegally, you're going to be upset about that. You know, we've had that in cases before. So these ordinances are here to protect yourself as well as everybody else. So that's why we have to.
We have signed a signed letter. We've all done additions, so.
So.
I have a simple question for you. I'm not a contractor guy. When I was at your house this morning, can you help me understand in like my terms to you? It's like, is that, you talking about that porch going where your car is? I was trying to figure out where the heck that was gonna go with that big tree.
To the
and
front
where I
of-
was so close to the tree in the road. Where's that porch going?
To the front of the car.
That's what I thought.
You see the window?
Oh, okay.
It's only coming, it's hard to see, there's a small little porch off the front, but it will touch that porch. It's a little 3-foot landing, basically.
No, that's, thank you.
But the window
that's
that's
where the
right
tree
there where
is,
the
and
car
they're
is
actually
parked
going
in
right here.
front, the window will come out and that will be the door. And it only comes out, it won't even come out to that tree. It comes out to the hood of my car.
I see. All right, yeah.
Okay. All right, any other questions? Okay, all right. So let's move on to the public comment section. Anyone here for or against? Okay, hearing none. Close the public comment section. Open it up for board discussion. Comments, or I'll entertain a motion.
There you go. I'll make a motion to deny ZV-25-4.
Okay, got a motion on the floor. Do I have a second? Got a second? Okay, all those in favor of the motion on the floor? Opposed? Okay. So unfortunately, the motion carries or are denied. You do have the option to appeal this board's decision to Glenn County Board of Commissioners. And they can choose to either uphold our decision or they can overturn it. So, thank you. Yep, this is the one. Okay.
Rosemont.
Rosemont, okay, yep. This was the other one that, sorry, I got too many things going on in my head. All right, ZV 25-6, 108 Rosemont Street, St. Simons Island variance. Consider requests for the variance to Glenn County zoning ordinance section 701 to allow existing encroachments on the front yard, right side, and rear setbacks. The property is zoned R6, one-family residential, and located at 108 Rosemont Street, St. Simons Island, Georgia. Parcel 04-09-283, Lynn Stotts, applicant and owner. This one they did officially withdraw. So that one we do not have to vote or comment on. All right, moving on to the last one. Variance request, ZV 25-9, 4568, New Jessup Highway variance. Consider request for variance to the Glenn County zoning ordinance section 713 to reduce the rear yard setback from 7 feet to 3.9 feet for a proposed addition. The property is zoned HC Highway Commercial District and is located at 4568 New Jessup Highway, Brunswick, Georgia. Parcel 03-04214, Darrell Dawson, agent for owner. Can we hear from staff, please?
Nisi Carroll again. The applicant is requesting a variance to the Glenn County zoning ordinance, section 713, to reduce the rear yard setback from 7 feet to 3.9 feet for a proposed carport addition. According to Q Public, the home was built in 1953. The building inspections department records indicate the carport was built substantially without a permit on December 7, 2022. Tagged and flagged red by staff. The homeowner did apply for a permit on December 8, 2022. However, during staff's review, the owner was instructed to reduce the size of the structure to be in compliance with the front yard setback. Through further research, it was discovered no inspections were called in to the building inspections department. The site is in the Highway Commercial District. However, a single-family residence is located on the property. Here is the zoning map. Survey zoomed in. This is the, a Google Map site from July of 22 that's showing the carport was not constructed at that time. And August of 2023, just showing it was constructed. This is current day photos. These are current day photos, excuse me. That's all from staff.
Okay. All right, anybody have any questions for staff?
No, I don't.
Okay, thank you. All right, move on, applicant. If you can step to the podium, state your name, and let us hear what you got to say.
Good morning. My name is Darrell Dawson. I'm the agent for the owner. The owner is Abel Garcia. And just a point of clarification on the survey, it does show 3.9 feet. On the survey, but it's just in relation to that back corner, not all the way across the addition. And what happened, just to give a little background, a little history, Mr. Garcia had someone to do the work for him in adding on this carport, and he was misinformed. I am a contractor, but I was not the contractor that built the structure. The gentleman that built the structure misinformed Mr. Garcia that he didn't need a permit. Mr. Garcia took the gentleman at his word, and he went ahead and proceeded to, do the structure. Then, from my understanding, after they got started, code enforcement stopped them and said that he had to apply for a permit, of course, and then it kind of evolved into where we are now. What he wants to do, the structure is there, and basically what he's trying to do is just pour a concrete driveway or, concrete floor under the roof. His entrance into his home is from that carport side, and he's just trying to clean it up to where he can park without having to create any further hardship as far as, entrance into his home off of a dirt pad. So we're here just, asking that you would consider to grant him a variance just to allow him to do that, just to pour the concrete pad. The structure is already there.
So what was obviously got red tagged, and it was noted there were no inspections called in.
Yes.
How did we get there, and why did they not get called in or inspected at this point?
Contractor said they need a permit.
Yes, they didn't apply for a permit. The gentleman that added the structure on for him gave him the impression that he didn't have to have a permit since it was just a carport. And he went ahead and took the gentleman at his word. He paid the other gentleman to do the structure. As I mentioned, the carport roof is there. It's just a carport. So the roof is there. The roof has been completed. And in trying to proceed to finish it up as far as pouring the concrete under the roof structure, I guess, code enforcement came by and saw that he was doing some work.
We remodeled the house and we got a permit and everything, and he told me, he said, you don't need a permit for this, and this is why we don't get a permit. And when I tried to get a permit, we got to know kind of situations, and I said, well, see, and then when I told you, because I told Christian, I said, we need to get a permit, and he said, no, we don't need it.
Yeah. This is the owner here,
If you would,
Mr.
please,
Garcia.
just have him state his name for the record, if you would, please.
Okay.
Yes, we have a permit to remodel the house.
Just state your name for the record, please.
My name is Abel Garcia.
Okay.
I'm the owner of the house.
Mm.
And we got a permit to remodel the whole house. We do the entire house. And when we finish, and one day the guy come in and we have it full cookout outside. And he said, you need a porch to park your car in here and everything. I said, well, I guess you need to get a permit to build. He said, no, because they don't have no power, no electricity, and you don't need a permit. Even when the inspector come and I told him, I said, can I give you the guy's number, the one that built the porch? He said, now it's your problem, it's not my problem. And this is where we start all this.
So you did a renovation on the main house, and that was permitted?
Yes.
Okay. And that was prior to the garage being added?
What do you?
That was before the garage was, or the carport was built?
Yes.
Okay. Gotcha. So I do have a question for Mr. Farnsworth. From a building perspective in your department,
Yeah, I know this is still the job, this is what I told him, and I said, I didn't even say, you want to go over, they want to build it. And he said, no.
yeah,
and
that's,
he
we have to deal with the fact that the structure's already there, and that's why I want to hear his side of, because that's his department.
But wow, who was your builder? Who was your builder? Who did the carport for you?
Christian, you know him.
Christian Werther?
Is he a builder or just a, I mean, is he a licensed builder or is he
No,
just
no,
a?
he's not a licensed builder.
Okay.
But I think they had an acquaintance.
I get it, I just didn't know if it was a licensed builder that just blew smoke up his behind or somebody just wanted to, it was a carpenter that could build it, and I was just kinda curious who might have done the work.
He has an occupational license, but not a contracting license.
Okay.
Gotcha, okay. So from your department inspection wise, or what, to correct, I guess,
The
what's your?
urgency was presented at the time of inspections on the house itself, that the drawings and the permit that we were inspecting upon did not include the carport. And I did mention, Mr. Garcia, that he needs to come down and apply for the permit. I told him it would be very easy, and because of the type of structure, there wouldn't be any hindrance to apply for the permit for us to see him forward on it. I was not cognizant of the setback violation at that point,
Right.
nor would it have come up in any conversation, other than the fact that he needed it.
Well, Sam,
permit for it.
excuse me, sir, Sam, what is name, the builder, the inspector? I talked with him when we doing the plans, to get the permit, and he went in wrong too, because he told me I have more space to the back, to the front, row, and I told him, no, I have 58 feet to
To the road.
and he said, no, my 58 foot is to the back. I even messed with him, I said, you telling me that I own the canoe? He said, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that has to do with boundary lines,
Yeah.
et cetera. At this juncture, this survey does indicate, I would say, somewhere in the area of 18 to 20% of the structure lying over the setback line. Now, depending on ownership and future potential for tract 1, I have no clue. I mean, is it big enough to build upon? Is it one of those type of lots that's going to remain an empty lot, which may help to affect your decision on this? I can't answer that. The structure is there at this time. If you were to pour a concrete slab that did not come all the way across the setback line, if we're strictly concerned with the concrete slab, then there wouldn't be a problem.
The slab can go beyond
The
the setback.
slab can go all the way to the property
That's
line,
right,
right?
and it can actually go over if it stays at grade. You're right.
That's
There's
right,
no step.
driveway, I'm sorry.
So if this is strictly regarding a slab, then it's a moot point. If you guys are backtracking and looking at the efficacy of the existing structure, even though it was built relatively recently.
So we're not approving a proposed, we're approving an existing condition.
Well, I guess it would, the.
Can we go back to the drawing?
Yeah.
Can you
Nixie.
go back to the drawing, Nisi, please? Get you a remote control.
So, because that brought up a question, so just to clarify, because if this was just an existing thing, this would have been handled administratively, but since the pad is going to go, I don't know, I guess that's where I'm confused. If it's just a pad, the pad can go to the property line.
Yes, and that's all he wants to do, is just pour a concrete pad under the existing structure. He's not gonna do any other work to the roof.
No,
The roof is
he
completed.
told me it needs to be done.
But the roof is over the setback line.
It looks like existing house is too.
I don't,
Yeah, well, the house is in the setback too, or it looks like it. What's the rear, this may be a staff question, what's the rear setback?
looks like.
What's the difference from the corner of the existing house to the property line? I can't read.
Yeah, I can't read it.
No. You can't even zoom it in.
Is it 8.3 maybe? Is
It
that what-
looks like 8.3 feet.
Oh, does it?
That's why I was curious. Do we know what
Oh,
that rear setback is? Is it 7 or 10 on that? It is, okay, so so the house is good.
good.
Okay.
And beyond the, beyond the property line in the rear, I think that's just a drainage easement, you know, so.
Yeah, that's a Altamaha Creek or whatever, canal
Yeah.
or whatever. it's-
That's the Autumn Hall Canal. I'm trying to figure out where this is.
So what is, and again, this may be a staff question, the division line that I'm seeing that basically runs through it is, Mr. Garcia, do you own the entire tract, both sides of that, or of the property, or?
You own both pieces of property? Where it says tract one, you own that as well?
Where the house is with everything.
The whole triangle?
triangle.
Yeah, track one, that's
He
6.647,
owns the
that's,
entire
that's
property.
Okay, I was just curious what that division line that is indicated as to what that is.
His original lot line. Apparently he owns 2 lots there.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Okay, so it's 2 lots that got deeded together, is that
That's
what?
what it looks like.
Okay. Okay.
Mr. Garcia, I commend you on what, I'm by that place pretty regularly, you've done a lot cleaning the place up, it does look, what you've done does look nice around there, and it's, I want to commend you on what you've done.
So, as an alternative, you know, again, we try to look for alternative solutions. Would it be possible if we, I don't know, I guess
Turned it.
doesn't matter.
Turned it. I don't believe you better get it in there.
Well, no, I was considering, you know, because it really, because here's the dilemma. The slab can go to the property line. To me, the hangup is that the structure is in there. You know, my point would be, can we stop the slab to stay out of the setback, but the slab can go to the end of the setback, am I correct?
Absolutely. May I?
Sure, please.
We're talking, right now, we're not discussing the overage on the side property line. We're talking about the rear setback encroachment, correct?
Right.
That one corner that is circled, it's,
And Darrell, you indicated it's somewhere around 3 feet.
On the survey, it shows 3.9, but now, from what I understand, we are allowed 18 inches overhang.
That's where I was going. So you reduce that 18 inches, it gives us 21 inches, 23 inches of actually inclusion
Yeah.
into the setback. So a wee bit of surgery,
so,
And this is just a corner of the property is in the rear
Yeah.
setback's the only one, the one dotted line and that's going through the middle of it, that's like 2 pieces of property was joined
Yeah.
as one now. So it's just the rear corner of the existing
Yes, that's
non-compliant
right.
is,
Just that corner.
Right.
so we reduce the actual intrusion by 18 inches and you're down to less than 2 feet.
Yeah, depends on where the
yeah,
post
that's
is.
the thing, where's,
If the post is where the dotted
Yeah.
line is,
The post is within the setback.
so that's the question, is that 3.8 or whatever, is that from the property line to the post or the property line to the eave?
Well, according to the survey, the way that it's shown on the survey is the edge of the roof.
The roof, not the post.
Okay, so that is actually the, okay.
so what's
Yeah, 'cause it
misleading is
kinda
that
looks like-
one, I can't read it, but
Yeah,
looks like a
the
setback
structure
line right through the middle of the
purlin
structure.
supported on post and the post
Yeah,
is
that's-
inset from the
That,
roof.
that's,
That's an old property division,
Yeah.
AJ said they merged the two.
that's what's misleading this
Yeah,
whole thing.
so
Yeah.
it's got one corner.
So it's
is
really just that corner.
Probably 5% or less of the structure would be non-compliant,
Yeah.
taking that line out of the equation.
Right. Go back one pic. So,
This one?
no. That one there. Sounds like it's just that small. It's just that
Yeah.
little corner right there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
Let's move. Let's
Yeah.
move on.
okay,
I'll make a motion.
okay, all right. Y'all have anything else?
No, not really, just, like I said, basically, he's just trying to, up under the roof, he just wants to pour a concrete slab.
Okay.
And that's basically what he's trying to do.
Have y'all already applied for the building permit?
No, not
So-
for,
The they never got it displayed because
Now,
There was an early application that was denied because of lack of, information that was needed and was not, the additional information was never submitted.
Okay.
So, for a question for Mr. Farnsworth, if an event would grant the variance, is he gonna be able, cause can you, that look like the 6x6 are just buried in the ground, that's not really, is that gonna fly with code?
We've been going round and round with regards to post settings, in a non-electrified, non-plumbed, non-residential condition. We're allowing, concrete embedded posts
Okay.
in
Of course.
conditions. in some
Well, if he comes back and pours concrete there, at least that'll give him
Yeah.
a little bit of uplift prevention.
Quite a bit of uplift prevention.
Especially if you put some anchors into your post it before you pour the cement. So,
Simplicity itself, really.
Yeah.
if an event a variant was granted, are there unobtainable hurdles with the county to get permitting to get on your side?
If this aspect is, allowed, all I'm gonna do is ride Mr. Garcia pretty hard to make sure that we get that information we need to get the
Okay.
permit approved and it be properly inspected.
Crack the whip.
And I notice a bunch of cooking out there a lot of times, so I'm gonna stop by and see you next time y'all cooking over there.
oh, we cook it all the time.
I've never been turned away. I don't think anybody else
I
has ever been
used to
turned
have
away.
the food truck in there, but that run me off.
Gotcha. All right,
But now I'm parking in 341
cool.
by the Long Velocini.
Good deal. All right. Anything else from you gentlemen? Okay, thank you. All right, we'll move on to the public comment section. Anyone here to speak for or against? Hearing none, seeing none, close the public comment section. Open up for discussion and/or I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion. I make a motion to approve ZV-25-9, as long as he can pacify Glenn County with on their side, so the
Building permit
building
section.
permits.
Okay, we have a motion.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay,
So we're not as hard as one might think.
so your motion passed.
If I just might add,
Yes,
make it contingent upon applying for and receiving the permit for the shed first before any work is done on the concrete pad.
Do I need to?
Yes, you need to,
So-
you need to amend.
Do I need to amend or retract and resubmit?
You need to retract and redo that motion if you want to take that.
Okay.
all right.
I make a motion to retract approval of ZV-25-9.
I'll second.
Okay, a motion.
Second.
He made a motion.
Wassman.
Wassman.
Gotcha.
All right, all those in favor of the retraction? All right, so that one is retracted, so now I'll reopen the floor for,
Okay.
I make a motion to approve ZV-25-9 upon proper permitting and inspections to pacify Glenn County Inspections Department.
okay, got a motion on the floor?
I'll second.
Mr. Wildman, second. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion passes. So just be sure and get Mr. Farnsworth all the information he needs, and we'll be good to go.
You thought you were gonna get denied, didn't you? From everybody else got denied.
All right. All right, any other new business from staff or anyone?
No.
All right, we will officially close this meeting. Thank you.